One of the things that really started catching people's attention was when the fact that, number one, Netflix is going through a lot of changes right now. But when they announced that they are probably going to be doing, well, they didn't announce, it got leaked out in a memo that went to staff that they're going to start running commercials. They're going to do a new tier that's probably a little bit cheaper than what you're paying now. And you can opt into a cheaper tier that will have commercials. And, there's a lot of debate about whether or not people were going to go for that or not. A lot of people said, nah, no way, they're never going to do it. But Disney then came out and said, we think an ad-supported tier was going to get more people signing up for it than don't. So now we're hearing about that. But now it sounds like maybe the commercials that Netflix is going to run in their series may not be as intrusive as we initially thought. This comes to us from the outlet The Streamable. They wrote the following: after a decade of resisting any and all advancements towards advertising, Netflix appears to be going full steam ahead on plans to introduce an ad-supported subscription tier later this year. That we already knew. While details have not yet officially been announced concerning the streaming giant's plans, Business Insider is reporting that Netflix has already begun sharing details with advertisers. But here where it gets interesting. The report says that Netflix does not plan to serve ads mid-content, at least not initially, and will instead focus on including commercials before and after the content. So this is interesting here because I have a Hulu no ad streaming plan, right? Mm-hmm. But even with Hulu, every once in a while, there's a show that I put on that'll say, I'll hear this voice before it starts that says, due to streaming rights, this show is not a part of the no ad streaming plan and will stream with an ad before and after the presentation. And then one commercial plays, then the show starts, no commercials during the show, and then it ends. I am actually very curious about this because the idea of an ad playing before a show starts and after the show is over, I think would be much more palatable to a lot of streamers who may not like the idea of, they're watching, episode 4 of Breaking Bad, and all of a sudden in the middle of a meth cook, up comes a Lemon Pledge commercial or something like that.
The bathtub scene, and then you cut to Swiffer.
Perfect timing. So I just think that this might be, because honestly, even as somebody, like I said, I subscribe to the non-ad plan on Hulu. It honestly doesn't bother me.
Thanks for that, John.
What's that?
Thank you for that.
Oh, yes. You're welcome, Ray. You're welcome. John Plus. Ray's only entertainment needs.
Plus Max. For me, baby.
So, I just wonder, I think if this will be actually okay with a lot of people. And if some of the people who've kind of been grating against this, like, screw that, I'm never going to do that. Hey, maybe you pay $6 less a month. And all you got to do is have one commercial before the show even starts. That might be more palatable. Anyway, Chris, you hear about this. Mm-hmm. Is this something that more people might gravitate towards? Or do you think just the idea of ads in general will keep some people away? What do you think?
I think this is Hannah Montana. This is the best of both worlds, right? You have to do the ads, but it's not interrupting your show. These networks, or these streaming services rather, are going to make their money, but it's not going to be a huge disruptor to the content that you're viewing. I'm not upset by commercials usually. I want to be in them, so I don't mind them showing up. Also, if these are on more streaming services, I think it's going to force commercial companies and the union to have more talks about how we're going to have commercials go union, how to properly compensate actors when they have internet ads and things like that. I think this is fine. And this is the service I would sign up for. I'm not all Moneybags Campea over here, not paying to have ads. I'm like a glorified intern. I gotta pay my dues.
The funny thing is, you walk in every day with a $17 cup of Starbucks coffee. So
that is made on the John Campea Studio Keurig machine. I will defend her coffee.
Oh, you get their
I get
teas.
their teas.
I stand corrected. You get the teas.
And you can use
the $15 teas.
Yes, not the $17
it's
coffee.
It's made with the tears of children, so you have to pay extra, but it's worth it.
I don't know, Aaron. Like when you or Tom are going to sit down now and look at the various options that Netflix are going to present, does an ad-supported cheaper tier, but only showing commercials before the show starts, more appealing, or does it not really matter?
I'm in the same boat as Chris, especially if it's not going to disrupt the actual programming. I'll use that time beforehand to be like, okay, Tom, get off your phone. Okay, are the cats fed? Oh, the baby's crying. Like, I'll use that time to get all of my stuff done. And then I'll be like, all right, silence. It's time to watch. And so I feel like if it's in the beginning, it's fine. If it's the end, let's face it, none of us are going to watch it at the end, unless you just really have a hard on for commercials, which I personally don't. The only thing that's really going to drive me crazy is the announcement that before every single commercial, there will be Nicole Kidman. And I'm like, do we really need to sit through this in our television? I'm kidding, guys. That's a bad joke.
She played on Hulu so many times the other night, and I finally started filming it, just screaming, being like, "My God!"
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
Really, they did?
There was so many times.
Wait, the movie theater ad that's before every
AMC ad?
movie is
playing. I was watching something on Hulu. We were watching SNL. We were catching up on all the SNLs. It's what played every single time, and every time it aired, Logan kept yelling, "Where is your God? Where is your God now?"
that Lauren Michaels. He's got such a sense of humor. My only question, though, is this: with broadcast television, the advertisers really control everything. And so if they have a problem with something that's on your program, they're going to pull their advertising. And so sometimes the content itself actually has to adjust to the needs of the advertisers because they are so dependent on the advertisers. And since the streaming platforms are not solely dependent on the advertisers, will the advertisers have any sort of sway when it comes to programming? And I think that that's a question that really can't be answered right now. It's going to depend on where the money falls, and if the advertisers do become the bulk of the income for these streamers, then we might start seeing some of our programming get a little less feisty. But I think that that's a long time coming. But it is something that plays in the back of my mind: is at what point do advertisers be able to have the same kind of input into programming that they do on the broadcasts?
I don't think it'll be like it was in the 80s, where literally, like a certain show basically was financed because of the main advertiser behind it.
Right.
I think with Netflix, with their model is like, look, we have inventory. We can slide yours in there, but we can slide somebody else in there next week. So, but it is a really interesting question. Here's my bigger fear. My bigger fear is a slippery slope. My bigger fear is they go, oh, okay, yeah, for the ad-supported tier, we only run the commercials before and after. And you know what? Nobody seemed to have a problem with it. Let's slide that into the main tier as well. And then we'll start putting commercials in the middle of shows later on. So my fear is they're going to look at this and go, oh yeah, everybody was okay with it. Okay, let's just put it on our main Netflix people too. Like, I'm a little bit worried about that, but I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? And by the way, I put up a poll in the live chat asking you guys, do you think ads before a show on Netflix will be more acceptable to customers? And 79% of you guys are saying yes, that'll be more acceptable to customers. 21% are saying no. So that's pretty interesting. What do you guys think about this? Do you think it's okay if they play before a commercial? Is that less disruptive? Whatever you guys think, jump down there and leave your thoughts there. Guys, we want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Mint Mobile. You know, the one with the delightful ads with good Canadian kid Ryan Reynolds. So look, after years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when I first heard that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, I thought, what's the catch? But after talking to them and using their service, it all made sense. There isn't a catch. And guys, that's no joke, because for years I've been using one of the major providers and it was fine. But I switched over to Mint Mobile a little while ago. The service has been fantastic. And the big difference is I'm now paying about 1/3 of what I was paying before. And the best part for anybody who just hates their phone bills is that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. All of their plans come with unlimited talk and text, plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all your existing contacts. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea.